the opportunity for a Hollywood finish will take the 250.
Phoenix, there they go, down to the bottom, 4 or 5 wide. Let's see if they can all keep it together. But Jacob Archer.
Remember last year when they ran the Mini 500, they streamed it on YouTube, on their YouTube channel? They're bringing it to TV this year.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first race of the Bottom Split Racing Series as we kick off the brand new year. I'm excited to have you guys with me. This is John Miles speaking, taking over in the booth. Super excited to get this thing underway as we get into the race. Tonight, we'll be heading to Chicagoland Speedway for the first race of the season. Should be a pretty good race for you all. Just as a little reminder, we have some new drivers in the field. Go ahead and take a look at those driver standings. As you can see, not a whole lot to report on just yet, just kicking off the season, but those are the driver roster for this season. Couple new things to add. Harrison Santos is switching from the number 28 to the number 1. We have a new driver named Rohan James, and he will be in the number 25, so welcome to him. Season 1 champion Chris Fuge will be running a part-time schedule this season, so unfortunately we will not be seeing any back-to-back champions. Chris, we do miss you. Taking a look, too, over at the track info as qualifying is underway. Right now, Chicagoland, it's located in Joliet, Illinois. Opened in 2001. It is a mile and a half, and I'm really looking forward to us going back here in real life. It's notable to note the turns in the corners, about 18 degrees of banking in the turns, 11 degrees on the straightaway, and 5 degrees on the backstretch. Session rules pretty simple and clean. It's a 20-minute practice that we wrapped up just now. 5-minute with a 2-lap qualification, and just a 40-lap race. It's important to note for this race, the fuel run is typically about 46 to 47-ish laps, and so what we'll be having is just strictly who can manage their tires better, which is super, super important whenever we are dealing with these newer guys that are newer to the league, just to try to get them comfortable and make sure they kind of have that whole driving skill thing down before they might head into some bigger leagues or join us on the Wednesday side of things. Some of these guys that you do see are part of the regular Wednesday schedule, so we're looking forward to seeing what all they can do as well as we mix it up. Right now we have about 1:50 left to qualifying before these guys grid up. It looks like Lane Snow is leading this thing as of right now. And we'll make sure to try to grab the pole sitter, whoever that might be, before this session ends. We can go ahead and take a quick look while we're sitting here at the Bottom Split Racing Series schedule. Tongue twister right there. As you can see, we have a couple races coming up. Every other Monday is typically what we do. Talladega will be in a couple weeks. Vegas, Michigan, Lime Rock, gotta love a good road course. Rockingham, Iowa, followed by Charlotte for the finale. So should be a really good lineup of tracks for all of us here. Should produce some pretty solid racing. As we finish up qualifying, I don't know if we're going to have any more people gridding up. We'll go ahead and, let's see, about 30 seconds left, and we'll keep it as it sits right now. 25 seconds. We'll go ahead and pull up that grid for you all just so you can kind of see where everybody's lining up. Right now, Lane Snow sitting in first, Scott Roll sitting in second, Harrison Santos sitting in third, Robert Lewis sitting in fourth, Garrett Jarnigan fifth, DJ Fluck in the 88 sitting sixth, Jax Mellon in 24 sitting seventh, Eric Richardson sitting eighth. Scrolling down a little bit, Rohan James making his debut starting in ninth, Jacob Barker 10th, Connor Fuge 11th, and JP Jones rounding out the field in 12th. As we get that scoring back rolling, let's go ahead and grab our pole sitter and give him a little chat. Lane Snow, this is John Miles in the broadcast booth. You got me?
10-4, I got you, Miles.
Well, starting P1 for the first race of the season. If I do remember correctly, last season you also started with quite a bit of momentum. What is the plan tonight to start the field and start where you finish?
Oh, just not wreck it and hope the Wi-Fi can hold on for the 40 laps here tonight.
Is there anything that has changed between now and a whole season ago that you would like to see shake out?
A little more consistency out of me. That's all I can hope for.
Alrighty, sounds good. I'm going to throw you back into your JM Motorsports team chat. Have a good race out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Lane Snow of JM Motorsports sitting on pole for this race. As they roll right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the front of the field. He did say Wi-Fi would be an issue, so we'll see if his Wi-Fi can hold on for this race. The number 5 American Airlines scheme leading the field to green. Pace lights are off in the pit car. On the pace car, we're going to see what we can get done for this first race of the Bottom Split Racing Series, round 1 at Chicagoland. Now, Chicagoland is known for being a little bit rougher of a track, hasn't had a repave in a while, which will make it a super interesting race when the real-life cars return here later this year. But it obviously, with it not getting a rescan, we'll see how bumpy it is. It might work in a second groove, but I don't know. I think it'll be where you start, how good your restart is, and how well you can hold off the position, and find that line between balancing tires and balancing speed. As we hit the restart zone and green flag is out, we are rolling here at Chicagoland. As Scott rolls, instantly dives down low, securing second place. Kind of searching around as Lane Snow goes instantly to the bottom. Prior to start, you want to save a little bit of tire and try to stay on the bottom. As you can see, they're already getting side by side. Already might be 3 wide there. Lane Snow holding them off, but Robert Lewis has taken the lead as he jets around the outside. See, that outside did actually pay dividends there, so we'll see if that's a continued streak here. And they're wrecking. The number 4 is around. Some cars get through it. Now remember, guys, there are no cautions in the Bottom Split Racing Series League, so you got to not only take calculated risk, but you also have to save tires at the same time. So with no tires, it is unfortunate seeing Scott Rolls fall back there. We'll see if we can't get a quick replay on that. Brought to you by Stadium Scene TV. As you can see, they're going, looks 4 wide. Let's take another look and see what happens. They are 3 wide going into the corner. Scott Rolls leeches ahead. It looks like the one just comes up into him, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Really unfortunate. As back for the lead, we have a new leader in I believe Robert Lewis was leading. We'll take a look at him sitting in P1 in the 01. With the number 1 car of Harrison Santos sitting behind him with Lane Snow sitting in 3rd. Now the 01 and the 1 car are taking a little bit more of aggressive lines, being a little, maybe a lane, if not 2 lanes, off the bottom. You have to wonder if later in the run that their tires might fall off here, so discipline is super, super important. Right now they seem to be running away from the field as Lane Snow continues to fall back now farther and farther, as Connor Fuge has moved up to 4th. Lane dropping back to 5th. Rohan James incredibly has moved up to 6th. A great start for him to start off this league. It does appear Scott Rolls did stay on the lead lap, so he is still sitting 12th as it sits. Garrett Jarnigan making a pass for 8th. Let's go a little bit back farther in the field and see what else we can take a look at. As the number 25 car of Rohan James is making a pass on Jax Malin there in the 24. Lane Snow and Jax Malin have both fallen back quite a bit from their starting positions. Lane Snow still side by side right there with the 24 car of, or the 25 car of Rohan James as they get stuff figured out here. Now you have to remember not to slide those back rear tires, and you also can't burn up your right front tires as well. These cars generally drive pretty tight with the low horsepower setups. You just cannot overdrive the corners. That just is a recipe for disaster when it comes to burning up your tires. As they're 3 wide there, a little bit farther back with JP Jones as they try to get it sorted out, still side by side there with the 21 and the 24. Right now we might have a pass for the lead as Robert Lewis is under pressure and he's wrecked, turned around. Let's take a quick look at that. Side by side there with the 1 entering the corner, slightly overdrives and just slight tap sends him around. I have to imagine, yeah, big damage for both of those cars. As we take a look back to see who's in the lead, it is a number 2 of Jacob Barker with about a half a second lead. Little bit of a demolition derby to start this thing, but that's the beauty of this style of racing and this format that we have set up. It encourages smart, clean racing because mistakes can be costly with no cautions, but it also helps with tire saving as well. I know that seems to be the whole thing we've talked about for the entire broadcast so far, but I can't stress enough how rough Chicagoland is and really the hurting you can put on your tires. We do have a small pass, I believe, just on pit road right now. Only a couple laps. I think JP Jones is coming in to fix some damage. Scott Rolls, having suffered that wreck a little bit earlier, is a little bit farther back. And DJ Fluck and Eric Richardson a little bit behind the field, and then you can see the rest of the field in front of you. As we take a quick look at the upcoming Wednesday Night Dash schedule, this Wednesday we'll be heading to Talladega. It's always a fan favorite for the broadcast to do and watch. I hope you all tune in. Then a little bit later we'll go to Indianapolis, and then all the way, you can see the rest of the schedule there. I won't bore you with the details, but something to really look forward to there is the second to last race, the road course, with going to Mexico City. So it should be an interesting time with the recent Cup debut there. So the next gen Cup cars there should be a whole lot of fun. And then finally ending out the season right after that. Should be interesting to see how drivers handle that switch from a road course right to the finale. Speaking of some road course driving, we take a look at the Indy Racing World Series schedule there on the screen as well. Feel free to. It's super important to note that for the Indy Racing World Series, it's season 7. It returns for a few weeks. It returns on the 24th at Phoenix. Broadcast fee is about $15 for 10 races, and registration is still open. The season will feature 3 road courses for the first time. A little bit back to the Wednesday Night Dash stuff too. I forgot to mention that we'll still prorate drivers into the league. If you would like to join and just try it out, feel free to join us. While you're at it, if you have some time to kill, feel free to catch a brand new episode of Garage Talk. Join FR Racing's DJ Fluck and Eric Richardson for Garage Talk, where 2 idiots talk racing and stuff. New episodes drop Friday morning on FR Racing Online. Watch on YouTube, listen on Spotify, or catch it wherever you get your podcasts. This week, they go ahead and talk about the clash at Bowman Gray, dive into overlooked logistics and planning concerns behind the IndyCar Freedom 250, and hit plenty more along the way. So feel free to give that a listen. My preferred method of listening is through Spotify, but I might be a little bit biased. You can get a little audio format or video format, so it's really the best of both worlds. as we do seem to have a new battle going on right now for the lead. The number 2 car has been tracked down by the new rookie of the number 25 of Rohan James as he's looking outside. Now this is, if you're Lane Snow right now, this is exactly what you want to see. You can see these two battling in front of you. You'd have to imagine that they're figuring out different lines. They're burning their stuff up a little bit. So ideally, if you're Lane Snow, you're trying to look for a great opening to definitely try to pick one of them off, but maybe pick 2 of them off before the favors return back to you. As they take a little bit of a higher line there, we'll see what Rohan James has for Jacob Barker, but remember that higher line is burning a little bit more tires, so at some point that car coming out of turn 4 is going to run incredibly tight. Dirty Air 2 is very important, speaking from experience running behind these ARCA cars. If you get too close to the bumper of the guy behind you, it can just tighten up that race car like no other, potentially sending you in the wall, if not overdriving and killing those right front tires. So as we see side by side going into the corner, I don't know. Rohan James might have the momentum on exit. I think he might. He's peaking. He is there on the quarter panel. If he can slide down just a little bit, he might be able to catch that side draft as they're still side by side. Now, if you're Lane Snow here, you're just looking at this and you are chomping your lips as Lane Snow now makes a move on the number 2. You got to make this move as fast as you can to try to get back by the number 2 so you can start working on Rohan James there in the 25. Still bottom feeding here, still saving tires as he gets his nose cut off right there. That's a very aggressive move from the number 2. As we take a look back out front, you have to wonder if the number 2 of Jacob Barker did burn a little bit of tires running that higher line there for a bit. And you have to wonder if Rohan James is going to feel that tire wear too start to kick in here in a bit. He might need to start going back towards that bottom line just to try saving some tires as Lane Snow makes a move underneath, trying to make it stick. He's there, still there, side by side at the line. You'd have to imagine a slide job is coming into this next set of corners. But that top line still does seem to be the preferred line, at least when it comes to speed. Now you have to wonder, we are coming up on halfway through this race, so you got to be a little careful here. We still have a lot of racing left to do, and you cannot burn these tires up too quick. As we take a look back farther in the field, Jax Malin is now under pressure from the number 32 of Garrett Jarnigan in the Little Debbie's car. Little Debbie's versus Zen's. It's little kids versus, well, college kids. A little bit farther back, we have Eric Richardson, followed by DJ Fluck a little bit farther back, and then JP Jones, I believe, is 2 laps. Yes, he's 2 laps down. Scott Roll still is on the lead lap, about 15 seconds back from the leader. So with no cautions, it's going to be pretty hard to catch back up, as we do have another attempted to pass between the 5 and the 2. You have to imagine the 2's tires are absolutely screaming right now. And you can imagine Lane Snow in the 5 is probably a little frustrated because he's getting his exit cut off and he's just trying to get some momentum. It is important to note that Rohan really isn't pulling away right now, which makes you wonder if his tires are starting to bite it just a little bit. There, that was a good lap for him. It does help that these 2 are continuously side by side, which is stalling out a lot of the exit speed out of both these drivers. If you're Lane Snow here, you just have to continue to be patient because you just can't burn your tires too early trying to make an over-aggressive move. You just have to wait for your tires to kick in here about 5 or so laps. Just keep that bottom plugged up, eventually make the pass, and then hope you have enough tires to make a move on Rohan James, the number 25 here. As you see, the number 2 makes an aggressive move all the way down to the bottom of the track. Get some good clearance there. That might have been, I saw a little smoke there. You might have too. I believe that might have been Rohan James in the wall just a little bit. Just trying to see what we can get out of it. I believe it was because his lap times are dropping back a little. You have to wonder if it is those tires, like I said, starting to finally work in as we're on lap 23 of 40, coming to lap 24. Let's take a little bit farther back in the field. We have a battle still going on between the 32 and the 24. Now these guys have ruffled some feathers before on the Wednesday side of things. Strict competitive racing between them. Typically fair, typically pretty clean, but definitely hard racing history between these two as they continue to battle side by side. Once again, that bottom line being preferred for tire saving, but the 32 wrapping that top does seem to be a little bit faster. You can see the 32 does a great job there of slightly sliding down the track and cutting off the air of the 24, which helps just a little bit as we have some side-by-side racing still going on between the number 5 and the number 2. All while they're still continuing to roll in. The 5 gets a little too low right there on entry of corner, kind of killing his exit right there. He went below the apron, but you can see these two are still somewhat reeling in the leader of Rohan James, so he just seems right now, that 25 car just seems committed in the Coca-Cola machine to running that middle to top lane, which, like I said, that's what this series is for, though. You gotta sometimes learn the easy way, sometimes learn the hard way, and maybe there's something that I'm unaware of. We'll have to see, but there's a little bit of network issues out of the Snowman as he does disconnect, and there it is. The number 5 car, he jinxed himself. He did suffer a disconnect. Really unfortunate. Right when we were just talking about it. So now Jacob Barker has a little bit less work to do. As he can now just focus his eyes straight ahead at Rohan James. Now what Jacob Barker should do is take note right now of what happened between the difference in speed between him and Lane Snow by Lane running that bottom line and saving some tires. Right now the battle between the 32 and the 24 has brought some company up to him in the form of Eric Richardson. Now JP Jones is a couple laps down, so he's out of the picture, but it's important to note that the 21 is teammates as they touch doors right there. The 21 is teammates with the 32, so you'd have to imagine that, as you can see right there, the shove into the corner to help on that exit speed. Although he's not on the same lap as him, the teammates are definitely helping out as they send him 3 wide. And there was definitely some contact there between the 24 and the 30, and the 24 and the 21. You can see they lagged a little bit right at the same time. Might be unrelated, but as that happens, the 24 does clear the 32. Woo, I don't know if that was lag or driving, but a lot happened in those last 2 corners. Now the 24 can kind of set sail, focus a little bit ahead, and see how much more speed he has without his exit being compromised. As you can see, he's starting to pull away already. A little bit farther ahead, you can see Jacob Barker is starting to reel in. Rohan James once again got it down to less than 0.3 of a second, with Jax Malon about a second, 1.1 seconds behind them. Now, kind of in a similar situation to Lane, as he's already reeled it down to less than a second. You want these two to be fighting right now, as Jacob Barker's in the wall a little bit right there. If you're the 24, this is exactly what we want to see. You want to see them fight as much as you can. And right now in his rear view mirror, you can see the 32 is now under pressure from the 13. Bad day gone worse right now. 13, an incredible drive, though. It's worth mentioning. He's driven all the way back from farther back in the field, but you can see that running that lower lane has saved him the tires that he needs to catch up to back to the main field. As Jax Malon has reeled in the leaders, we have side-by-side action right now for the lead, as the top 3 is right there on each other's door. 24 sneaks to the inside of 25, clearing him on exit as the 2 cars in the wall. Jax Malon, number 24, your new leader. Now right now, 9 laps to go. Stay out of trouble and just save tires. It's safe to assume, maybe besides Eric Richardson in the 13, you have the best tires here. So really just get in a rhythm, stay out of trouble, and just don't overdrive any corners. Garrett Jarnigan might have some tires too, compared to at least the people in front of him. But you have to imagine with Eric Richardson hounding on his back door right now, that there's going to be some quick passes made. Otherwise, you might get past yourself here, as 32 is side by side with the number 2. As the number 24 continues to put a gap on the field behind him, now stretching it to almost a second. Still a big battle going on right now behind him as Garrett Jarnigan does make a pass for second. Network issues aside, I'm sure the 32 probably didn't appreciate some aggressive driving there from the 24 that he's kind of built up a reputation around, but it has landed him in victory lane on the Wednesday side of things. So we'll have to see how it goes, as the 13 might have taken a little shot there as they're wrecking. The 19 goes around. It doesn't appear to cost anybody too bad, as Eric Richardson is actually affected quite a bit. He's a little off pace here. Looks like there might be some damage. Maybe not. He might be all right. All right's relative, though, because it did cost him quite a bit of time on track, as Garrett Jarnigan is now the man in second place, hunting down Jax Malin. As we do have about 6 laps to go, there's a little bit of smoke ahead, which makes me imagine that Jax Malin might have scrubbed the wall there. Right now, Jarnigan is running that higher line, just trying to get some speed rolling here. As he does, he's got it down to 3/10. He's right on the back door of Jax Malin. As he's in the wall, they're side by side, going into the corner. Still side by side. There was a little bit of contact there. It seemed like the 24 did check up a little early. As now the 21, who was wrecked by the 24 a little bit earlier in the race, maybe with some network help, but nonetheless slides in front of the 24, killing his chance. As the 32 takes the lead for Smoky Mountain Racing. Now Jax Malin has bigger fish to fry right now with a 13 car behind him and Eric Richardson, with 5 laps to go. Now the 13 is going a little bit loose. It looks like his back end's a little bit out there, but he gets the pass done on the 24. Move Eric Richardson, the number 13, to P2. A little bit farther back, the number 2 car and the number 25 still in a battle. The 88 has done a great job too as well, and DJ Fluck, of sneaking back into this thing as well after having to check up a little bit earlier for one of the earlier wrecks. He was kind of on the same strategy there as Eric Richardson, but still a good race so far, as Eric is now still 8/10 behind the leader. Now it's going to be difficult to say the least to pass right now. There is a big roadblock in the name of JP Jones right in front of him. As a teammate, it's kind of expected to help each other out where you can. And this is one of those scenarios to where I'd have to imagine that JP Jones is going to take the preferred line to make it a little bit harder on Eric to catch JP's teammate. No harm, no foul in it, though. That's just teammates helping teammates. Can't hold anybody against it. But as you can see, the 13 is actually a little bit faster each and every lap than Garrett Jarnigan. About, I don't know if it'll be enough with 2 laps to go. We'll see as JP slides up the track a little bit. That's what I was kind of talking about. We'll see if we can get a crossover move. There's the crossover. White flag is going to be out, but it's going to be, I believe, a little too hard to pass that roadblock of a teammate, as I was mentioning earlier. As we take back a look at Garrett Jarnigan leading this thing, we'll cycle through the field really quick to make sure we don't miss anything, with Jax Malin holding off some of the field there in the wall a little bit behind him. See if you can't limp home to a 3rd place finish out of all this, as Garrett Jarnigan in the inaugural season, or in the inaugural race of the 2nd season, takes this thing to victory lane, with Eric Richardson almost getting it done, about 3/10 of a second behind. Great racing out of them. Great first race of the season. Let's see if we can't get some interviews done. Some bumps all around for some teammates. It's one heck of a bump right there. As we take a look at your results, Garrett Jarnigan P1, Eric Richardson P2, Jax Malin P3, DJ Fluck bringing it home P4, Jacob Barker 5th, Rohan James 6th, Scott Roll 7th, 8th Robert Lewis, 9th JP Jones, 10th, Harrison Santos. 11th, Connor Fuge. And 12th, suffering a disconnect, is Lane Snow. We'll go ahead and get a good look at that burnout for you all in full screen as Garrett Jarnigan brings it to the start-finish line and provides a little smoke show for the fans that came out and the fans that are watching back at home. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get to the interviews here. We'll go ahead and start with, we'll start with second place, Eric Richardson bringing it home second place in the first race of the season. Eric kind of started a little bit farther back in the field, but I called it out in the broadcast, you doing a lot of tire saving there to really make the most of it there in the last couple laps. Talk to me about your race and what more you could have done to maybe come home with one place better.
Yeah, figured just hold on there at the opening stint. Like you said, saving tires, and then once we got inside about 15 to go, really just go for it. Got caught just a little bit. My steering was actually about 45 degrees off, and it was a little sketchy those last like 8-10 laps.
You said your steering was a little bit off there. Is that more of a mental adjustment that you had to make there? Or was it more mechanical that your car was maybe a little bit less performative than you would have liked it after that?
I was actually surprised how quick it was still going. Just making the adjustment of changing my marks a little bit and just being a little bit smarter with the throttle control.
I gotcha. Anybody you'd like to thank before we switch over?
No, just everybody coming out and enjoying another league here by FR Racing, and appreciate everybody taking the time and having some fun.
Thank you very much. Switching over to third place, Jax Malin. A little bit of an up and down night. Overall, there was some good side-by-side racing there. Had the lead for a little bit, then fell a couple spots back. Talk to me about your night.
Yeah, got to the lead there, kind of like Eric was saying, saved my tires and drove by everyone and had it pretty wrapped up there. And then lap car wanted to wreck me for the third time that race, so that just killed the car. Couldn't turn anymore. Kind of surprised I held on for third, but yeah. So that's about it. That's all I got to say.
You had a teammate sadly suffer a disconnect, but he was also pretty quick throughout the race. Was there any communication going on between you and him, or were you two on your own separate game plan?
Yeah, he kind of wanted to go up there and race a little bit, and then I was kind of back there with Garrett, kind of riding around, just saving. Cause I figured it was gonna come down to me and Garrett there at the end, but yeah, happy for Garrett to get the win. Wish I could have been racing for him straight up, but there's other factors that could went into it. So
Sounds good. Anybody you'd like to thank before we switch over to the first place winner?
I guess the J Motorsports boys. We need to get some more people though. That's all I gotta say.
I gotcha. All right. And speaking of, we'll switch over to the number 32 car, your winner in victory lane tonight, Garrett Jarnigan. How'd you do it, man?
Didn't get spun. That was the name of the game. It is bottom split. Yeah, like Jack said, ran with him for a while because I knew he wouldn't really get into me. We just cruised together for a little bit, had a couple laps side by side, had a lot of fun, and then some more chaos happened up ahead. Unfortunately, he got caught up in it. But Eric, you would have shocked me that your wheel was sideways because every time I looked down, you were gaining 2/10 on another couple laps. You would have had me. But it was a good race overall.
With how tire dependent this track can be and the lack of power compared to the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars, were you surprised that you could make multiple grooves work?
Yeah, any other stock car in this service, your tires are shredded doing 40 laps, but I really didn't save that. I saved a little bit running with Jax there for a couple laps, but I really just pushed it to see what would happen. The car just stuck. So it says a lot about these ARCA cars.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you giving us that info, and I'm sure that you and the rest of the team are going to use that for especially the future races as we are very early into the season. But you're the points leader as of right now, heading into Leaving week 1, heading into week 2, is there anybody that you'd like to thank before we head out?
Yeah, shout out to the SMR boys for having me on, the FR guys for running the league, and you for broadcasting.
Sounds good. Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Alrighty, and that wraps up this segment of the first race of the second season of Bottom Split Racing Series. Feel free to check out all the social media platforms as we saw earlier. Don't miss this episode of Garage Talk. Don't forget Indy Racing World Series just around the corner, as well as the Wednesday Night Dash also just around the corner. Feel free to check all those out on all social media platforms. Come back here to watch those live streams. This has been John Miles. We appreciate you guys tuning in for this first race of the season. We will see you all in a couple weeks.